In the heart of Igbo land, nestled between hills and thick forests, lay the village of Amauzu. It was a village famed for its beauty, its fertile lands, and the wisdom of its elders. At its heart stood the royal compound, a majestic cluster of huts and sacred shrines. In this compound lived Princess Obianuju, the beloved daughter of Eze Ogbunike, the king of Amauzu. Obianuju was the pride of the village, not only for her beauty, which rivaled the morning sun, but for her kindness. She was the type who greeted even the humblest farmer with a smile and often played with children under the village udala tree. Yet, despite her charm, whispers of an ancient curse surrounded her birth. The aged Dibia, spiritualist, Nze Uduak, had warned the king before her arrival. This child will bring joy, but her fate is tied to the sacred tree of our ancestors. Though many dismissed the prophecy, the elders often gazed at the ancient Oji tree, kola nut tree, that stood at the edge of the king's palace. It was a tree that no one dared to touch, for it was believed to be the resting place of spirits. No one knew how, but Obianuju's life was intertwined with this ancient tree, and the people of Amauzu feared what that might mean. The tree whispers. Years passed, and Obianuju grew into a graceful young woman. But strange events began to unfold. At night, when the moon hung low, villagers reported hearing soft whispers coming from the sacred tree. Some claimed it called her name, Obianuju. Obianuju. One evening, as the princess sat beneath the tree, weaving a basket, a sudden chill ran down her spine. She heard a faint voice that seemed to rise from the roots of the Oji tree. "Do not stray too far, daughter of the wind," it said. She looked around, but no one was there. Shaking, she rushed to her father. The king summoned Nze Uduak, who inspected the tree with ritual incantations. After hours of divination, the old Dibia emerged from the shrine, his face pale. "Eze Ogbunike," he said, "this is no ordinary tree. It holds the spirits of our ancestors, but something dark has awakened. The princess must stay away." The villagers, gripped by fear, avoided the palace grounds. But for Obianuju, the tree felt like a part of her. She could not explain it, but she was drawn to it, as though her very soul resonated with its roots. One market day, a stranger arrived in Amauzu. He was tall and clad in a flowing white robe, with a staff adorned with cowries. He called himself Dike, a wanderer from the distant lands of Nsuka. The villagers murmured as he walked with confidence into the king's palace and asked for an audience. "I have come because I heard of the whispers from the sacred tree," Dike said. "It is no ordinary cause. The princess is bound to it, and if we do not act, Amauzu will suffer greatly." Though skeptical, the king allowed Dike to stay. The stranger spent his days observing the tree and performing rites at dawn. Obianuju found herself intrigued by him, for he seemed to know more about her than even she understood. "The tree holds a secret," he told her one evening. "But to uncover it, you must face your greatest fears." The first sign of the curse appeared during the festival of Iriji, New Yam. The villagers were gathered in the square, singing and dancing, when the sky darkened unexpectedly. A fierce wind swept through the village, toppling roofs and uprooting smaller trees. When the storm passed, the people were stunned to see the sacred Oji tree glowing faintly. Its leaves shimmered like fireflies in the dark. Obianuju stood transfixed, her heart pounding. "It is calling me," she whispered to Dike, who stood beside her. The Dibia declared the event a bad omen. "The ancestors are restless," he said. "The princess must be protected at all costs." But Dike disagreed. She must go to the tree and listen. The answers lie there. One fateful night, unable to resist, Obianuju crept to the tree. As her trembling hand reached out to touch its bark, a surge of energy coursed through her body. She collapsed, and in her dreams, she found herself in a vast, golden forest. There, an old woman with piercing eyes approached her. "You are the key," the woman said. "But beware, the curse is older than Amauzu itself. To break it, you must make a great sacrifice." When Obianuju woke, she found a strange mark on her palm, shaped like the tree's leaves. She knew her journey had begun. Dike revealed to the king and his council that the tree was once a powerful shrine to Allah, the earth goddess. Centuries ago, a great betrayal had occurred when a princess of Amauzu broke a sacred covenant. The goddess had cursed the royal bloodline, binding it to the tree. The curse will only end when the rightful heir sacrifices something precious, Dike explained. But the path is dangerous. Spirits will rise to stop her. The villagers grew restless. Some whispered that the princess should leave the village to save them all, while others urged the king to cut down the tree. But the Dibia warned, to harm the tree is to doom Amauzu forever. Obianuju began to have visions of spirits, some kind, others vengeful. One night, she awoke to find a shadowy figure at the foot of her bed. "Do not trust the stranger," it hissed. "His path leads to death." Confused and frightened, she turned to Dike, who urged her to stay strong. "The spirits will try to break you," he said. "But you must trust yourself." Together, they performed rituals to seek guidance. But as they delved deeper, the spirits grew more aggressive. Strange howls echoed through the village at night, and the sacred tree began to wither. The old woman from Obianuju's dreams appeared again, this time warning her. "The time is near. To save your people, you must offer what you hold most dear." Obianuju was torn. She loved her people, but the thought of sacrifice filled her with dread. Dike assured her that she would find the strength when the time came. "Sometimes, the greatest act of love is letting go," he said. As the day of reckoning approached, the spirits unleashed their fury. Crops withered, streams dried up, and sickness spread through the village. The people begged the king to do something, but he was powerless. On the night of the full moon, Obianuju stood before the sacred tree. Armed with nothing but her courage, she confronted the spirits. They swirled around her, their voices a cacophony of anger and sorrow. With tears streaming down her face, she placed her hands on the tree and whispered, "Take me, if it will save my people." As dawn broke, the villagers gathered around the tree. They found Obianuju lying at its base, unconscious but alive. The tree, once withered, now stood tall and vibrant, its leaves glistening with dew. The curse had been lifted, and peace returned to Amauzu. But the princess was forever changed. Though she lived, a part of her remained with the tree, her connection to it unbroken. From that day on, the people of Amauzu revered both the tree and their princess, whose sacrifice had saved them all. And so, the tale of Obianuju and the sacred tree became a legend, passed down through generations as a reminder of love, courage, and the power of the spirits.